ये लालच हमारे जीवन की इसी तरह से जो आधार होता है उसको नष्ट करता है। दोनों में डिस्प्यूट हुआ और फाइनली लालच जीत गया। तो इस वक्त जो लालच का प्रभाव है गंगा पर, उससे लड़ना बहुत मुश्किल है। और जब भी उसकी लड़ाई की बात होती है तो दोनों तरफ से युद्ध के तार खिंच जाते हैं। मैं बस एक छोटा सा सॉल्यूशन देके बात खत्म करना चाहता हूं। मुझे लगता है कि गंगा की जो इस वक्त अपनी ताकत है और अपनी राजनीति है और जो अपना तंत्र है, उस तंत्र को यदि हम किसी तरह से सम्मान देना शुरू करें, और वो नीचे से शुरू हो सकता है, पंचायतों से, नगर पालिकाओं से। यदि हम पूरी गंगा का एक तरह से समग्र चित्र रखेंगे, वो भी रहना चाहिए, वो बहुत जरूरी है क्योंकि वो हमारी राष्ट्र की मां है। लेकिन इसके बेहतरी के लिए, इसकी हेल्थ को ठीक करने के लिए हमें कुछ छोटी छोटी जगह से काम शुरू करने पड़ेंगे, जहां से जिम्मेदारी और हकदारी दोनों को देखा जा सके, दोनों को असेस किया जा सके। जब तक जिम्मेदारी को एक तरफ, हकदारी को एक तरफ रखेंगे, तब तक हम आगे मूव नहीं कर सकते। इसलिए गंगा मां को दोबारा से पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए जिम्मेदारी और हकदारी, इन दोनों को जोड़ के आगे जा सकते हैं।
थैंक यू। नेक्स्ट, yeah, we'll just take one more question, sir, and then.
In the same.
Okay, go ahead. Very briefly, I want to take more questions.
The historical perspective about the canal is that at that time, that means 1842 or near about that time, canal was the only method of obtaining water for irrigation. And the Romans carried water on long distances over channels which were high above the ground because they did not have pipes to carry such a thing. So that is natural. But later on, in 1920 onwards, groundwater could be extracted through bore wells, etc., for irrigation of fields in the same manner that canal would irrigate those fields. Because of this gap of time in technology, canal preceded the groundwater utilization. Today we have both the methods. We can recharge groundwater and we can abstract groundwater. That's what I mean. A balance has to be kept.
So should we decommission the canal now? That's the question coming. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I don't have a question.
Sir, can you just give your introduction?
Yeah,
your name,
I'm Mohammed Javed from IIT Guwahati.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm basically environmental engineer.
Yes.
Your
question for which speaker?
I don't have a question. I have just a paradigm which I have learned from my childhood. Possibly we have forgotten it. Like if you live in the villages, we are always running short of resources. And if you want to do something, you have to take udhar, loan from somebody. And after some time, you have to return it in the same condition.
Yes.
Whether you take rupees or grain or whatever, you cannot take the good grain and return back the bad grain or whatever it may be. So when we talk about nature and development, or I can say not nature, because nature and water is very much interlinked. So I will say water and development.
Yes.
So for development, when I am taking water, and why I can't return the water from where I am taking the same form. I'll give you one example. I worked in South Africa for 3 years.
Yes.
In the city of Durban. We see in the television, there is a small river which is known as the Umgeni.
Yes.
And on this upstream, 4 or 5 cities are there. They take the water from the same river. They supply it for drinking purposes after treatment. They collect the wastewater, again retreat it and dump in the same river. Durban is the last city. And there, it is almost 70% recycled water is supplied to the people for drinking purposes. I asked the manager of the treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, how come you are putting so much effort? Because from India, I have seen how we operate. He said, sir, Department of Water Affairs and Forestry people, they will come. They will go to the upstream where I am putting my treated sewage. They will take the sample. They will go to downstream and also take the sample. And what they expect, the downstream quality should be better than the upstream quality. He wants to dilute the river water by the treated sewage.
Right.
Now, Rajendra Singh has said that technology or knowledge. I differ with him. If you use the technology and knowledge in the right way, possibly we can always achieve the treatment quality, whatever the desired level is there. I myself worked for the wastewater treatment plant design of the IIT Guwahati. We didn't go for the very hi-fi treatment system because I knew 7 months, 8 months we have a rainy season there. We cannot put anything hi-fi. We don't have qualified manpower to operate the highly complex treatment system. We went for a pond system, and with whatever little manpower is there, as far as an environmental engineer, I am more than happy whatever Mr. Jain has said, BOD should be less than 10 and all those things. BOD is almost 0. by pond
Okay.
system.
Let-
So it is
let-
not
let-
like that.
okay.
So
I
what my
get your
question
point.
is,
Yeah.
technology, you
Yeah.
have to use the right way. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's just get the Rajendra Singh ji, आप क्योंकि ये बार-बार मुद्दा आ रहा है टेक्नोलॉजी एंड
देखिए,
दिस इज आईआईटी
अभी जो हमारी शिक्षा है वो जो इंजीनियरिंग और टेक्नोलॉजी सिखा रही है वो लाभ के लिए सिखा रही है, और जब हमारे जीवन की तकनीक और ज्ञान शुभ के लिए होता है तब वो एक्सप्लॉयटेशन नहीं करता। तो हमारे व्यापार में, हिंदुस्तान के व्यापार में लाभ के साथ साथ शुभ का बराबर चिंतन होता था। तो यदि टेक्नोलॉजी में और ज्ञान में हमारा उद्देश्य शुभ है तो वो कॉमन फ्यूचर को बेटरमेंट करने के लिए हमें आगे मूव करता है, आगे धकेलता है। लेकिन जब हमारा टेक्नोलॉजी और इंजीनियरिंग केवल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन सिखाती है नेचुरल रिसोर्स का, एक्सप्लॉयट, आज तक कोई टेक्नोलॉजी, कोई इंजीनियरिंग मुझे बता दीजिए कि किसी ने धरती का पेट भरने का काम किया हो। जबकि प्रतोष त्यागी जी कह रहे थे कि टेक्नोलॉजी है, लेकिन धरती का पेट भरने का काम अनपढ़ लोगों ने ही किया है। 8-7 नदियों को जिंदा किया है। क्यों नहीं किसी आईआईटी ने एक नदी को जिंदा कर दिया? क्यों नहीं एक आईआईटी ने कोई नदी बता दी कि हमने अपनी नदी को पुनर्जीवित कर दिया? यदि ऐसा एग्जाम्पल हमारे सामने होता तो मैं बात मान लेता कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी और इंजीनियरिंग आज भी शुभ की चिंता करती है। बस इतना ही फर्क है। यदि वो शुभ
Would
की चिंता
anyone
करे
from
तो
IIT
मुझे
want to answer that? Why have our great engineers not been able to save our rivers? But, you know, we had indigenous technology in Rajasthan which went and not only saved our rivers, as Rajendra Singh is telling us, revived our rivers, and 40% of that water goes into the Yamuna or the Ganga. So anyone from IIT wants to take up this challenge?
My name is Bhai Mohinder Singh. I am a retired civil and structural engineer and housing expert. And I'm going to say here something very innovative.
Okay.
This country is based on dharma.
Yes.
Dharma is based on responsibility first and foremost. I'm so happy that dharma has been brought into this equation. Dharma tells us all the pap, all the sin that you do is because of your mind. Your mind is your best friend and mind is your worst enemy. Now, there is need for mounting a campaign of awareness, empowering the mind, that unless you are clean in thought, unless you have purity of thought, action and deed, you will not have environmental cleanliness as well.
Yes.
So what is needed is a campaign empowering the mind. I want to remind people of UNESCO's preamble. It stated in 1944, when UNESCO was set up, all wars start in the human mind. If you have to build any defenses against the wars, you will have to address the mind. We are again saying all sin starts in the mind. If you have to do anything about sin and pollution, you have to empower human minds.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're getting a lot of comments. I request the audience here, questions. We need questions for our panelists. We need to tease their brains a little bit more. Yes, Dr.
Very specific to Dr. Jain. You said that we have a policy that 80% of the water has to be returned to this. Do you think it's a correct policy to return wastewater into the city and we should not move away from it? Second, so this is one thing. And second thing is, if you follow the standards even of 10 BOD or whatever, do you think our rivers will be all right? Can we call them as a freshwater bodies? Even if tertiary treated water is added to this, so the situation will remain the same.
Yeah,
The
I think
one
you
more
raise a
point,
valid point.
the
Yeah.
IIT, this thing, we are not here to have a divide between IITs and the rest, isn't it? If IITs are not doing the proper work, I think this is what we need to do. What kind of education we give to the people, what kind of technologies. So we are not here. In fact, the idea is, we have been working separately. So the idea of creating this platform is essentially to bring together that if you don't understand your language, we'll try to understand. If you don't understand our language, we'll try to make sure what way it is. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Tare, for putting that in a perspective. Yes, if we can, we'll just take a question. Let him just respond.
Has technology improved any river? My answer is yes. Thames River was dead.
But in India,
But
sir.
no,
So in India.
but there was will of the people to restore it. Here what has happened, We all think I don't mind throwing my dirt into the river, but I object to another man throwing his dirt into the river. So long as, what Sardarji said just now, we have a feeling that everybody has to improve the river, then only the river can be improved. If we go and just shit in the river, how can the river be pure? Technology has improved. People of Britain rejoiced with joy that salmon fish appeared in 1959 in Thames River. Why? Because they treated it and they vowed not to pollute it. Now one can walk along the river. Yes. I went to Berlin. I was unable to walk along Rhine, although there was a green belt on either side of the channel, because it was carrying all pharmaceutical waste, which was giving absolute bad odor, and one could not stand by the side of the river. We in India, when we worship Ganga as river mom, Mata Ganga Maya, we don't mind polluting it. I went to Moradabad by train. I could not even breathe because one industry, although was running its waste treatment plant or effluent treatment plant, but was throwing such a polluted water and polluting the air to such an extent, it was difficult to breathe. That was the time when the train did not have fixed window glasses. So I could feel the difficulty. Technology and our devotion, if they are dovetailed together, then only we can achieve the results. Whatever standards we may lay down, they will be consigned to books.
Okay.
Subramaniam from Everything About Water. My question to the panelists is the same that you asked Bahar quite a few times. I didn't hear an answer. If there is one specific thing, I'm an engineer by profession. So, I mean, all these high-flying, high-polluting solutions are good. But if there is one simple thing that each of the panelists suggests that we need to do, what would that be?
I think some of them have tried to give one simple solution. But if anyone wants to give one immediate solution, I think they've all tried to address it in their... There are no quick fixes. Okay. All right. There's a question there in the middle. Go ahead.
Yeah. Craig Hutton from the University of Southampton, United Kingdom. I'd just like to make a comment on some of the things we're hearing. It leads to a question. We're talking a lot about how to use the example of the developed world, let us say, in the north, as if we have precursored the history that might happen here. One of the problems with the Thames example, and indeed in the US, is that we export our waste to your country. We have salmon in the Thames because we simply have moved our pollution from the West into cheap production.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately for you, I mean, economically it has certain benefits, and certainly I benefit at home, and I hear people from the West preaching about this, but really, where are you going to export your pollution to? Because there isn't anyone behind you, unless perhaps one day Africa takes off, but that's still not morally responsible. So not only do you have the same problem we had in the West, you also have the additional problem that there is nowhere to push your pollution. So the buck stops here.
Right.
So my question, I guess, would be, how do you see your future innovatively? What is the innovation, social, in faith-based, and technology? And I don't think we need to split these up. How are you going to combine? Because the problem you have is bigger than anyone else has ever had. I think that's why we're over here. We feel that responsibility.
Thank you. I think that this is, I'll just, Rajendra Singh ji, I'll just put it in the context for the audience. I think you raise a valid point. We're constantly talking about Western models of cleaning up our rivers. And the Thames model doesn't have the kind of human densities which the Gangetic Belt has, which we keep forgetting. So let's, go ahead.
हिंदुस्तान के लोग गंगा में या अपने नदी में सदियों से उसको साफ रखने का, मैनेजमेंट रखने का, और जो गंदगी है उसको ट्रीट करने का काम था. लेकिन गुलामी के दिनों में वो जो वेस्टर्न का नॉलेज आया, उसने हमारे उस ज्ञान को पीछे फेंक दिया. मैं आज की तारीख में ये कहना चाहता हूं कि सॉल्यूशन हमारे पास अभी भी है, लेकिन अभी भी जो हमारे राज्य पर कब्जा किए बैठा है वो वेस्टर्न ब्रेन है, और उस वेस्टर्न ब्रेन में